Hello. Yes, friends, I would like to welcome you to the fourth lecture series of Unit 2. In the unit lecture, in the third lecture, we have discussed things relating to risk management decisions, where we have seen risk management decisions. The first one is how to control the risk, decisions relating to controlling the risk, and second one is decision relating to financing the risk. In risk control, we have seen avoidance of the risk, how risk can be avoided, then the management of the risk through what you call as the kind of postponing the risk, something like that. And in the risk financing, we have already seen how the financing method is being done, financing system is done when we accept the risk in the business in the previous lecture series. Now, in this lecture series, we would like to discuss the main important three issues in this lecture series. The one is benefits of risk management, and second one is risk pooling concept and diversification of the risk, and the third one is advanced issues in risk management. These are the three important things we need to discuss in this lecture series 4. As you know in detail that benefits of risk management, while discussing most of the aspect relating to risk management, I think you might have come across how important a risk management in any business organization, not only in business, even in non-business organization also, even in our personal life also, risk management is most essential, because unless and until you anticipate the uncertainty and make preparations or strategic plans to sustain those kind of risks, I think achieving your objectives, personal objectives or organizational objectives or business objectives is very impossible. Therefore, risk management is very important in every business. So let us understand what are the benefits of the risk management in point wise, so that you can easily write answers in the examination. Normally in the questions in the examination will be asked for 7 marks. Discuss the various benefits of risk management. What is risk management will be asked for 3 marks in the examination, and discuss the various benefits of risk management will be asked for 7 marks. You have to include these. What the points I'm giving is the minimum points, but maximum you can add by reading additional books also, or undergoing a certain video lectures available on the YouTube and all that. So the very important one is the benefit of risk management is increased awareness of the threats. Early identification is more important. So risk management focuses upon awareness of risk, identification of risk. The first step of a risk management process is identification. Under this identification step, we are going to anticipate the probable risks that are going to come across in the functioning of an organization or in the performance of a business activity. So you will come to know various kinds of risks available. For example, if you are keeping the stock in the of the raw material, the possible risks that are going to affect are physical risk, such as theft, burglary, fire, spark, and all that may damage the existence of your raw material. This is a one anticipated common risk. The second one is could be a value related risk, that the stored raw material value may be reduced if the time passes out. If it is not utilized within the time, the expiry of the time period may lose its quality. You may not be able to utilize it properly. Or there are chances that the quantity of the raw material that you have stored may have pilferages, may be having a wastages due to certain climatic changes and all that. Suppose, for example, if you are storing the petrochemical products, spirits, alcoholic products, and all that, if you do not properly maintain it, its quantity will go on reducing because it is subject to evaporations or pilferages is possible. So this is another anticipated risk. And now the third one is the economic risk or market oriented risk. In this case, if the price volatility happens in the market, the product price if reduced in the market, the stored price what you have purchased cost is more, sometimes you have to suffer with the loss. So this is also anticipated risk. So these are the various risks that we come across in a one single aspect of stock of raw materials. And on the other hand, finished goods. On the other hand, market demand, customers' mentality, everything is subject to risk in the business. So you have to evaluate the risk possible things at each step and have a strategy to maintain it. So when the risk management is studied in detail, it helps you to create an awareness about the threats, possible threats. And if you anticipate those possible threats before they happen, you can easily control them, or you can have strategies to sustain those kinds of threats. So that is very important. So risk management benefits people to enhance knowledge relating to awareness of threats. The second one is improved ability to respond to the unexpected. If any unexpected things are happening, you can respond to that and make an analysis of what is its impact on your business. For example, the macro level changes are also having a micro level impact on the business. And the micro level businesses will be affected by the macro level changes. Say, for example, today the COVID pandemic is going on. It has led to several kinds of risk exposures. You might have seen the lockdown, you might have seen the people having an infection in the organization lead to many other expenditures, many other threats to the business. In fact, the businesses have to change their systems. Earlier, from physical movement to now online mode, most of the businesses have come down. Work from home has come down to most of the professionals today. Instead of sitting in the office, they are sitting in front of the computers at the home itself. So these are the possible unexpected changes that have been taken place, and now we are trying to manage this risk by providing certain kinds of strategical approaches, by adopting certain kinds of strategical approaches, like for example work from home, maintaining the distance, 50% workload, reducing the market operations. So all that we are trying to work upon this pandemic situation. That is, it helps to improve ability to respond to the unexpected situations and build up certain strategies to sustain our business existence and have existence of the business even in this kind of situations. The third point important is continuous improvement of the products or services. As you know, the risk is helping to reduce the cost. So continuously you can have improvement in the product services and all that. Products or services is possible because once you anticipate the risk and make an arrangement for that, you can easily avoid those kinds of risks. That is one best lesson to enhance the service quality and all that. For example, now today, for example, bankers, when they anticipated the ATMs, how they are being misled, how they are being these things, fixing the cameras, safety cameras and all that, and giving the alarm kind of a things and keeping a security near the ATM, the quality of service of the banks through ATM is increasing every year. And by anticipating the theft, burglary, or short circuits, whatever is possible, understanding all this, they made all the strategies to sustain these risks. Now effectively these things are working out in the economy. So this is an example, best example, how the services can be improved, products can be improved by anticipating these risks. Next one is enhanced ability to profit from a new opportunities. You can utilize the new opportunities and earn the profits if at all you have a well set of risk management system. If you can manage the risk effectively and you have all that parallel strategies to control the negativities happening in the business, new opportunities you can utilize and earn the maximum amount of profits in the systems. Today, for example, you might have seen in the software industry, every now and then the recent innovation of the software becomes outdated. Therefore, most of the software developing companies are trying to catch hold of the new opportunities and developing the softwares to handle those things, so that old one, when it becomes outdated, by the time they come with a new product and new kind of a thing, so that they can survive in the market. If you are producing only one product and if that product becomes outdated in the market, you have to lock down your software industry to a larger extent. Therefore, new innovations, opportunities, possibility of improvement of the products, everything is being done continuously in order to explore the business and earn more profits, so that they understood the risk of what you call as outdated things in the market. They know the customer's mentality. Whenever new product comes, they want to just drop it out and go for the new one. Therefore, every company is trying to come out with the new versions of the product, especially in mobile industry. An example you can take, every now and then the mobile industries are inventing a new things and trying to incorporate and coming with a new series of the mobile, because the mobile companies know that the market demand is not constant. It is every time fluctuating. Customer demands and expectations from the product is increasing. Therefore, these companies are trying to incorporate those things, so they know the risk of obsoleteness of the product in the market. Today's best product becomes a other picture for tomorrow. Therefore, these companies are trying to manipulate the existing product and make it more effective and representing the product in the market with a new improvements. So this is how we call as risk management, helps to uh, ability to go for new opportunities and anticipate new opportunities and come out with. The next one is improved management decision making. The management decision making will be highly improved because research and development is continuously done. So the organization will find out the new avenues by understanding the risk in the existing systems. So they try to avoid this by taking effective management decisions and coming out across it. The next one is higher profitability of achieving objectives. You might have seen the higher profitability is possible only when risk is properly managed. If you do not manage the risk, profitability will not be there. Take an example of the Kodak camera. When they anticipate that, when they found that new mobile phones are coming with a high frequency level of camera sets in it, they could not develop that. They still attached to a ammonium roll used in clicking the camera. When the digital camera came into existence, the Kodak cameras got rid of it, and you might have seen the film developing units, what you call as the negatives or developed to positive photos, that has gone out from the market, and lot of investments made in this field has gone waste because the Kodak could not be able to understand the coming changes and go for it. It is what we call as the best example of marketing myth, thinking that our product will never be beaten in the market, new innovations are not anticipated. So this is how the companies have to suffer a lot. The same example happened with HMT watch company, where they have still started producing the winding watch, where the electronic watch taken away the whole market. Like that, many of the old products got died in the market because of not having change in that particular thing. So therefore, higher profitability achieving objective is being disturbed if you do not anticipate the risk involved in it and develop a strategy on that. Then enhanced stockholders value at risk management will help to enhance the stockholders value, because every time the company focuses upon the profit earning through new avenues and new strategies by anticipating the risk, so automatically stakeholders value will be increasing in the market if the company is well engaged in the risk management system. More effective use of resources is possible. Optimum utilization of the resource is possible only when the risk management is properly done. These are the various benefits of risk management. The next aspect that I'm going to discuss now is the concept of risk pooling. Pooling arrangements and diversification of risk is normally made in the insurance company businesses. You know that insurance companies are those companies which are going to receive the premium from the customers, and they promise to compensate the loss to the customers if it happens in an agreed point, on an agreed point. For example, the Life Insurance Corporation, LIC, assures the death of the person's, the compensation to the death of the person for a premium. If the person who is paying the premium dies before the expiry of the time or immaturity of death, then his family holders will be compensated with a particular sum assured money. Say, for example, he is paying a premium of rupees 200 every month, and compensation of 1 lakh is agreed upon. If the person dies after paying a 3 premiums, 1 lakh rupee will be compensated to the dependents. So this is what we call as insurance companies undergo for taking out the risk of the individuals. Individual risks is, if at all the earning member dies, the dependents will be suffering, so they should be compensated with the money. So that risk is taken away by the insurance companies for compensating, and this compensation shall be given against a premium. If the person dies only, the payment requirement arises. Otherwise, he has to pay the premium regularly till the retirement. After the retirement, a certain sum of money will be returned to him, which will be less than the sum assured many a time. So this is what we call as life insurance. In case of assets also, the insurance contract is made. If at all the asset gets damages and non-existence of the asset is creating any loss, the anticipated loss will be compensated against the premium by the general insurance companies. So this is what we call as risk management by the insurance companies. When do the risk pooling concept comes into? What is the risk pooling? In risk pooling, three risk, what you call as insurance companies will come together and have a common fund to control or to compensate a huge amount of loss anticipated. That is called a catastrophic losses. Catastrophic losses. Here the word, very important word comes into picture, is a catastrophe. What is a catastrophic loss? Is a kind of the situation where the loss is very huge and it is affecting a large group of people. That is what we call as catastrophic loss. For example, earthquake. Earthquake is a catastrophic loss, where when the earthquake happens, it is not only one single person gets affected, the several people staying in that particular area will get affected. That is what we call as catastrophic. Flood is a catastrophic. Now this COVID pandemic is a catastrophic because it does not affect only one single life, it affects many lives, and most of the people are in need of compensation during the loss. Therefore they go for such kind of insurance contracts. But normally insurance company is also under a problem, because if at all the such catastrophe loss happens, it is very huge for the insurance companies to manage that loss. So one single insurance company may not be feasible to manage that risk, even if sometimes the premium payment is very low and the compensation to be made is very high. In such cases, insurance companies will undergo a loss. Therefore, insurance companies, what they do is, in order to utilize that kind of opportunity of catastrophic losses where one single insurance company cannot manage, what they do is they pool that 2-3 insurance companies will come on a common platform and they develop a particular kind of what you call as a insurance product, so that the insured will be compensated in the catastrophic losses. That is what we call as pooling of insurance, where the risk is being divided between the insurance companies when the huge loss happens to the insured people. Uh, that concept is called as risk pooling concept, where one or more insurance companies, two or more insurance companies come on a common platform, contribute a common fund, and whatever the premium they receive from the investors will be commonly distributed among themselves, and they invest in a particular business opportunities of their own. And whenever the loss happens, all the companies, two or more companies who have made a pooling of that, will come together and compensate. This is what we call as risk pooling agreement. So in this risk pooling arrangement, the risk is diversified between the different people. It is divided among the various what we call as insurance companies. This is what we call as risk pooling. Uh, in simple terms, risk pooling is the practice of sharing all the risks among a group of insurance companies. With risk pooling arrangements, instead of participants transferring risk to someone else, each company reduces their own risk. They, because when the huge loss comes, all these people will what you call as insurance companies will divide that loss, so each individual loss will always be less. So this is what the advantage of risk pooling. Risk pooling is the sharing of a common financial risks evenly among a large number of people. This is what the concept of risk pooling. Now, let us understand the types of risk pooling facilities in insurance companies. If you understand, pooling arrangement can include different lines of coverage and generally fall within two broad risk categories. One is a more predictable risk, and second one is a less predictable risk. What is more predictable? Long tail risk is more predictable in the sense it is possible to happen, but the happening of the loss is for some period of time, long time. Their time gap is very low, but it is more predictable. This is going to happen definitely. Such kind of situations are, for example, the such as workers compensation, or retirement benefits to be given to the workers. This is what we call as a risk happening. Either the worker will die before his retirement or the worker will get the retirement. But Normally this is more predictable. The person either he will die or he will retire, but in both the cases in compensation has to be given to the worker. So that is what we call as group insurance contract or retirement benefit contract agreements and all that. This is also a kind of what we call as a risk pooling. So in this case, more predictable, more loss in the sense frequency of happening of the loss is high, but the severity of the risk is low. In this case, severity is low. For example, if you insure 10,000 employees life under group insurance, all the 10,000 people will not die in a one single negative incident. In one single negative incident, one or two people will die, whereas 998 people will survive. 9,998 people will survive. So this is how hardly 2-3 people will die, but not all at a time. But you are collecting premium from all the group employees and compensating the part of that to a people died. So loss severity is low. Severity of the loss is risk is low, whereas the frequency is more, because such kind of things during a period of 10 years may be frequently happening. Frequency is high, but the severity of a risk is low. In this case, more predictable kind of a thing, pooling is being done. You might have seen today the workers group insurance contract is being taken not by one single insurance company. Normally several insurance companies will put together, develop a contribution. Like for example, Unit Trust of India, the life insurance, and SBI life insurance companies, and ICICI put together, four together will develop a product for the companies to go for the group insurance contracts. Or even retirement benefit, today what we are talking about is a NPS, new pension scheme. In this new pension scheme also, it is not taken out, the product is not developed by one single company. They will pool it normally, because the huge amount of loss is risk is coming out, where it will be divided among the members equally. So this is what we call as more predictable. Second one is less predictable kind of a thing, where the prediction is very less, but the severity of the loss is very high. If you consider here, in this case, you will find out low frequency, high severity risks. The frequency is low, the happening of the loss is very low, but once it happens, the risk is very high. That is, severity of a risk is very high, such as earthquake, windstorm, excess liability, and other property lines. So there are the examples. Any kind of a catastrophic, this is called as a pandemic, or the kind of problem happening to a mass. Once the situation happens, earthquake, it happens, several houses will be broken down. If the huge storm comes out, many buildings will fall down. So this is what we call as a high loss, severity of risk is more, whereas frequency is low, because such kind of things will happen once in a blue moon. So therefore here also the risk pooling is being done. So risk pooling are of two types. One is more predictable risk pooling, less predictable risk pooling systems. So there are two different types of risk poolings. So here we will understand the risk, how it is managed when the huge amount of loss is happening around, whether the frequency is high or low, but the severity of the risk will be managed through risk pooling system. Now the last point to be discussed in this discussion point is advanced issues in risk management. There are many new issues coming around in risk management, where most of the companies are facing the problem. It is just an activity of highlighting what are the various types of problems that we come across in the risk pooling. One is problems in risk management, and the second one is challenges in implementing risk management activities. There are two problems in risk management: are failure to use a risk matrix properly. Most of the time companies are unable to predict the risk, and sometimes some risks are anticipated more, but they never happen because the matrix is not properly understood. The matrix discusses about the type of the risk and frequency of the risk, severity of the risk, and a method of pooling that you have to make. For example, avoidance is possible only when uh, the risk is low, severity is low, then risk is high, severity is high, you have to avoid such kind of risk. But the companies will not adopt this. They adopt something else where the risk is very highly involved. The companies will fail in the system. That is how failure to use a risk matrix properly is one of the problems in the risk management. Second one is mistakes in measurement of the known risks. In measuring the known risk, people most of the time, the companies with the overconfidence will avoid certain kind of a risk. For example, when the doctor is practicing, he knows that some of the injections that he makes has got a reactions on the patients, and antidote has to be kept in the organization, in the hospital. But by several months, when he practices, when he finds that there are no reactions identified, most of the people are tolerating that particular drug, no reaction is identified, then over enthusiastically he will neglect to maintain the antidote in the hospital. But one fine morning where one patient develops a reactions against the drug, at that particular time he may not be having an antidote in the hospital and the patient will die. So in such situations, it is called as a measurement of the risk is wrongly made. When you anticipate every time a success, the failure is neglected. When every time you mention, you will not come across the risk and you forget the risk, which is most anticipated risk all the time. So this is how we call as mistakes in measurement of known risk. For example, wearing a mask is very safety and it will protect you against the COVID. Most of the time people go to the market, come to the office, go to the home, and they every day wear the mask. But one day when they don't wear the mask, they don't get affected and they feel that it is all not required and they give up the mask regularly, don't wear the mask. But once they get affected, then they understand, oh, I should have worn the mask. So this is how the mistake in measurement of the known risk is quite common in most of the risk management. And neglecting known risk, a very known risk is being neglected. And next one is failure in communicating risk to the top management. Many a time the risks which are anticipated in the lower level is not being communicated to the higher ups because the people want to settle at their own level. So this is what the problem. Now, nobody has anticipated the problem of oxygen in the COVID treatment because they have not anticipated that so many people will rush to the hospital when the available oxygen cylinders will be less in supply. When they anticipate one or two kind of such situations, if they do not communicate to the top officers or to the government, when the oxygen production has to be increased, if they fail to communicate, then pandemic is not managed properly. It creates a lot of havoc. That is what happening today in the situation, in the systems. That is what now we are trying to import the oxygen, trying to increase the capacity of oxygen production in the production units. These are all things being done now by anticipating and facing the risk, but we have not anticipated the risk before it happens and done work on this. Last point is a failure in monitoring and managing the risk. Another one is we do not monitor the risk. We are failure in managing the risk. Many a time it happens because of the negligence and less exposure to the risk. So these are the issues in the risk management. Most of the organization will face this problem. Next one is the challenges in implementing risk management activities. If you consider, there are various challenges in risk management. One is lack of accountability. That is the people are not more accountable to the activities what they do. They neglect the risk. So in spite of knowing that risk is coming out, but the accountability is not there, they want to postpone their responsibilities, shirk their responsibilities. When the risk happens, they become sufferers. So this is one common this thing. It is a very challenge, lack of accountability. People don't have accountability in most of the organization. The leaders are not having accountability to their jobs. Because of that, most of the risks are emerging. They just allow that particular thing to happen without understanding it creates the risk, or knowing that it creates a risk but not having an interest to stop it. So these are all the problems. It is a challenge. Next challenge is not taking risk assessment seriously. They don't take risk assessment so seriously. Everyone, most of the people know that smoking injures the health. We know that the smoking creates a cancer, but while smoking we neglect this. Most of the time people do this. Drinking alcohol is bad to the liver, but most of the time limitless drinkers will drink the huge amount of alcohol and damage their this knowingly. So they don't take that risk seriously. without, even if they know that it is leading to cancer, problems of the health and all that, but during the action they are not controlling those kind of happenings which lead to risk. So lack of transparency is one more problem, because most of the time transparency will not be led to, most of the time they try to hide the gain informations which are supposed to be given. For example, a patient goes to a doctor will not lead to all his problems actually, because the doctor may charge more, or unnecessarily treatment time will be enhanced. So this lack of transparency will lead to some certain risk to the patient itself. So this is what we call as lack of transparency is a challenge. How to avoid this and maintain the risk, manage the risk is very difficult. And overlooking risks which are known, if you known risks are overlooked, you do not take into account with overconfidence or with ego and all kinds of things. If you overlook it, leads to certain problems. Next one is failure with managing the risk on real time basis. On time things have to be done, but if you fail that particular thing, you are supposed to lose that. For example, when fire extinguishers are kept, the time of the fire extinguisher is 1 year or 2 year. After that you have to replace that. But in spite of knowing that, if you find that cost can be reduced by taking a risk of not replacing the fire extinguishers, if the fire happens, the old fire extinguishers will not work because of the expiry of that particular thing and all that. So this is what the problem. For example, some people will take a risk of not repairing the car even if they know that repairing has to be done, but in the meanwhile, if it gets breakdown, then they will suffer. This is what failure in the management on real time basis. Not prioritizing vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities means the possible negative things happening, you are not prioritizing one which is more prioritized, which is less, which is can be postponed. We are unable to do that. So because of that, some risks which we do not anticipate is going to create a problem. Then stressing too much on a high impact, low probability risks. Stretching too impact on high impact on low probability risks are too much stress. If you make high impact and low probability risks, normally creating a loss to the organization. You are trying to withheld so much of liquid cash, anticipating that your expenditures are more. But if your expenditures, if they are not more, unnecessary withholding of the cash will lead to a loss of interest. You may not be able to earn a return on that. This is what we call as the too much impact on that particular thing. Use is not there. Then narrow vision. If you do not look forward and understand the future narrowly, today what is happening is you find it is correct one, tomorrow's negative things, if you do not anticipate, you are likely to undergo problem. So this is one more challenge. Not going beyond the compliance. If you do not go beyond the compliance and satisfy the requirement of the uh, risk management, you are likely to die. So therefore, in order to meet out all these challenges, normally most of the organizations will go for outsourcing the risk management or taking the advices of the experts and preparing certain strategies to manage, to address these challenges and all that. So here the changing scope of risk management, the another one is the point, changing scope of risk management today. Risk management scope is changing drastically in today's market. In today's business world, the scope of risk management is not limiting only to identify risk and taking insurance. It covers the following topics: understanding enterprise risk management, studying insurance market dynamics, developing skill of loss forecasting, and financial analysis in risk management decision making, understanding risk management tools. We will discuss these things in the next class. Okay. So now I would like to end my session, because tomorrow I'm going to cover the remaining aspects, since the time is too much, and I will stop the lecture here. Thank you.